Welcome to another exciting episode of the Fresh CrEd Podcast. Today, we're thrilled to have Mark Santos, a key player in the produce industry, and one of the driving forces behind Santos International. Join us as we dive into the rich history of his family business, exploring their journey from a small start to a leading name in customs brokerage and cold storage. Mark's insights on industry trends, challenges, and his commitment to customer service make this an episode you won't want to miss.
Hey, what happened Wednesday? Was there something that took place Wednesday?
The Fresh CrEd Invitational?
The Fresh CrEd Invitational, which, by the way, so that's a great segue into
Which by definition is invitational.
Right.
So and if you don't even ask until you get invited.
But hang on, that's a great segue because me and you've chopped it up enough between you and I. We've got this young man sitting next to us that anxious to get on the show, Mr. Mark Santos. Mark, how you doing, brother?
Fantastic. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here with us on the Fresh CrEd and taking some time out of your day of this busy show. Which the segue was, you were on the invitational list.
There you go.
And you chose not to be there. So
I thought maybe there was going to be some hurt feelings. I didn't realize.
Mighty unfortunate. I did notice that I got the invitation, so that's always
good.
nice.
So, I was trying to shut you up. I didn't want him to know that.
I'm just not sure, how we handle rejects going forward.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
do I get an X on the list?
I'm not sure we actually get to stay on them. Yeah, it's a fun tournament.
Absolutely. It's always a good time.
We'll be doing it again next year. Likely, I think you'll probably be able to get back on the invitation. But this is one of those things. It's going to become a deal where if you turn us down, you may be
naughty or nice.
The list, so I don't know.
Hey, we'll be expanding, so don't beat them up too bad.
I heard you had 35 out there.
24.
24. There you go.
And that's kind of our cap. We're looking to keep it at, right? I mean, it's.
24 of produce finest.
Finest what I don't know, but they're fine at something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But now, for Ed, he runs the massive Viva Fresh Golf Tournament, which what do you get? What's the player count? Not the weight.
Just under 300.
Just under 300. So I can tell you 24 is a challenge.
Yeah.
300 is a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a nightmare.
I might try herding cats just to see if there really is a comparison, because I hear people talk about herding cats. I think we should try it.
And it's a challenge. 300 people, only 290 of them are probably prima donnas and want want everything the way they want it all the time. And 290 are the 290 of the most important people here.
Oh, the most important. Yes.
That's the way
we love them. We love them for coming out. We love the support.
Well, you knocked it out of the park. Everything was fabulous. Great weather.
When you have a good venue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, challenging, man. That wind was blowing one way, and it was.
You played, so you got there early. I remember. You obviously you came and volunteered, and but I forgot that you played afterwards.
Yep.
So yeah. It was challenging, huh?
It was a tough one, but it was good. It was
a great course.
Well, there's a reason why they
Ed did another nice job. So good job.
Absolutely.
Well done,
Thanks.
Mr. Bertaz.
And
credit very
you don't know
often.
the amount of work that goes into it until you sit and talk to him about it. And
now he'll
it
tell
all
you how
together.
much. If anybody's interested in how much work it is, just give Ed a few minutes and he'll fill you in.
There you go.
Hey,
I think you pleased 299 people, man.
Way more than what you hear. Like when I'm working at midnight on that kind of stuff, and I called you the other night on a Sunday night.
You called me.
I give Craig some credit. So it was, I don't know, Sunday I probably spent 20 hours working on this stuff, and Sunday night I called Craig at 11:30 night. Of course, it's 2 hours earlier where you live.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say it was closer to midnight his time. I mean, that's the thing. I finally had time. So, dude, you need to go to bed. I mean, for God's sakes, I think he's only slept like a handful of hours each night. So. Either way, I do want to give props because he and I have been messing around with golf tournaments. There was a time when we worked together on this. It's pretty much just become the Ed show. Craig just gets to go up and hold the check because that's all I deserve to get to do.
So don't forget you got the awards.
Well,
the term is they use for golf pros when they get put out to pasture is emeritus.
Okay.
Right. So it's head pro emeritus, teaching professional emeritus. So Craig is
golf
he is chair, co-chair emeritus.
emeritus.
That's what we're going to call him.
There we go. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so that'll work.
Yeah.
Well, look, Ed and I both have a long-term relationship with Mark, and we could talk about a bunch of different things. Viva Fresh is great.
Blessed to have you.
Super excited. Mark is here today to talk to us about Santos International. Santos, Mark's going to give us a little history, kind of let us know about, the family business, where it started, all that kind of stuff. So Mark, I mean, certainly, again, as Ed said, very thankful for not only your sponsorship and support today and for this weekend show, but realistically, you have been behind us even from the very early start of it. You've helped us in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely.
and being part of the board and part of the steering committee, you've made sure that not only do we have a place, but you help support us get this fabulous booth set up. So thank you very much, and thanks to the Viva Fresh team, all of them that's made us be here. But tell us a little bit about Santos International. What do you guys do? How'd you get there?
Well, first off, congratulations for doing this. It takes a special type of person to put together this show, and really y'all have taken it from its infancy to now really knocking it out of the park, and such a professional presentation and program y'all got on here.
Thank you.
So congratulations with that. I guess just a little bit about us.
You had an anniversary
This
recently.
year. Yeah, this year we are celebrating our big 50th anniversary as a company. I tend to say a little bit, I haven't been there all those 50 years, but some days I feel like it. Being involved in the fresh produce business, and really I feel like I am in the produce business. 100%, I don't feel like I'm really any different, because we all go through the same type of things, whether you're a service provider or whether you're selling the produce or buying the produce. It's all still the same challenges throughout that you face daily. So we started out with my father heavily focused. It started off in McAllen with my grandfather. My dad was a pharmacist at Walgreens. He was running the pharmacy there, and my grandfather called him up and he said, "Hey son, what do you think about moving back down to the valley?" And so he left his pharmacy profession in 73, and then from there Santos International was started up with not only just him but my mother. And my mother was actively involved in getting the business going. So my father was probably, I think we were the number 3 or 4 broker at the port of FAR, which was Hidalgo at the time.
So a little bit. What is it? Your grandfather? What was the business?
So he was involved in the U.S. custom brokerage business.
Okay.
Yep. So kind of from a legacy from there, and so that's when my dad got involved was in 73. And so obviously we had a heavy agricultural focus where the big things back then were cantaloupes and watermelons, a lot of bulk. I remember as a kid going into the office and all you would hear is tick, 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 zzz, tick, 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 zzz. So obviously it's progressed quite much from there, but obviously a rich history and many blessings to be put in the position where we're at today, and the sense of responsibility of continuing that business and moving it forward in the manner that it's existed, so
Something to be very proud of, definitely. I mean, I grew up in a family business. I have a good idea of what it feels like. It's pretty good, great feeling.
Yeah.
I wish I would have stuck with it some days, and some days I know why I didn't. But I think I know the answer to a couple of these. I mean, you touched on or you alluded to several leading up to it, but what would you say that as a team, as a family, if you asked your dad or your grandfather, who I'm assuming you don't have with you anymore?
Correct.
Was the secret to y'all's success? I mean, I'm going to say it was probably a lot of hard work, but
absolutely.
I mean, there's got to be some secret sauce.
Yeah, I think it's a personal commitment. When you sign up with a customer signs up with you. You want to make good on your commitments and the promises that you tell them when they're making a change or just first starting up. And to me, that's what drives me every day, is I want to make good on the promises that I make to my customers. And that's how, to me, we've been able to survive 50 years of business is delivering on commitments that you make. So
now, when your grandfather started it, you guys started a warehousing facility then, or has that been? Because I know you guys have some of that, and I'm curious about that piece of your business. Did you start with that in the original, and then what are your locations?
At the time, we started out predominantly just in the straight custom brokerage business. In 2010, we progressed into the cold storage business. So we got about 50,000 square feet of cold there in McAllen. And then in about 1998, we opened up a facility in Laredo, and we've got about 20,000 square feet there of cold as well, where we do distribution. So we do predominantly, Laredo has a lot of in-bonds. In-bonds are when product goes from Mexico to Canada or any other various country. In this case, it's mangoes a lot that go through there, so we handle quite a bit of that market, just from the progression of us being in McAllen and handling mango business, and then our customers wanted us to move and be able to service them there in Laredo.
Gotcha.
Mark, what would you say the demand to capacity ratio is right now in cold storage in the valley? I'm guessing it's pretty low. I mean, it's pretty high, right?
So it's very interesting.
Or on the border in general.
At times of year, I would say, when you've got all commodities coming on, say in January, February, March, it's pretty strong, and then it can taper off from there. But there is a good amount of capacity right now.
Really?
I wouldn't say there's at a saturation
cold
point.
storage is popping up.
Yeah,
kind of left and right.
Yep, there is. There's no doubt. There's a lot of growth, but I think we're starting to get to that plateau right now. Where I was just speaking with some of the colleagues. A lot of people have plans and paper for expansions and growth, but I think right now is maybe people are still tapping the brakes as far as. And there's some capacity out there, not at grand scale, but the idea is to keep your cooler, at capacity year round and being able to manage it.
Anything on the horizon from a regulatory or importation standpoint? Obviously, y'all are abreast of all that's happening as far as customs is concerned. Anything like that concerns you that...
Absolutely. We just got over this hurdle of the organic certification, where all your processes are going to be scrutinized, that the packing shed is organic certified all the way through the warehouse in the U.S., and everybody's got to be registered as organic. That was a tremendous deal. I think our company was on the forefront of getting the word out about it. It was kind of quiet, for a while, and we really did an outstanding job of keeping our customers engaged and putting on presentations for them and so forth. And then obviously you got the tomato suspension agreement. That's nothing new, something that just keeps poking at you all the time and just kind of there and
keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Gives you something to do.
Something to do and to concern yourself out there. But hopefully that'll all work itself out too, I believe.
So you mentioned tomatoes. You mentioned the organics tomatoes. What is your biggest, commodity wise here in the valley? What for you and what's your? And I know you guys do other things besides fresh fruit and vegetables,
right.
but in the fresh fruit.
So we do. I would say berries are a pretty big commodity for us. The reds, blues and blacks, and straws.
Yeah.
Those kind of keep us busy during the fall and winter, and then the mangoes will keep you busier during the summer. So we got a good little mixture of things.
And you've seen massive growth in that berry category, correct?
Surprisingly, I would say in general you're correct, but I would say this year our customers were down some as many as maybe 15 up all the way to 30% down on volume this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Weather related?
Weather related. Yeah.
I mean everybody.
All varieties?
It was just wild. Especially on the berries, and you're seeing it on other commodities too. A lot of people complaining about drought. A lot of people. This peso situation is a very serious situation because they say, hey, I can send my product to the U.S. or I can leave it in Mexico and probably get paid, right on the spot. Yeah, here's my product, and you don't have to take any risk on consignment. So I think you got a lot of just different moving parts, but I think in general everything's going to trend that way towards growth. I think you're just in different economic times right now.
Yeah, the peso valuation is a major challenge across all fronts in Mexico. People don't realize, the dramatic change in the value of the peso against the dollar and how that's impacting business. So it's interesting that you bring that up.
And then the third thing I would probably report is just even Mexico's having labor issues.
Yeah. For sure.
Holy smokes, and of course, I mean, you guys got businesses here too. Labor's a challenge, so it's just it's interesting times.
Water labor, certainly both the U.S. and Mexico share in that. I don't think people realize how challenging the labor is in Mexico for sure. So
I think that's what they call a symbiotic relationship.
It's not what they call it. I don't think so. No, that would be it's a relationship where two things, because of certain things, they work well together.
Yeah.
So we
share water.
It's a similar, but symbiotic. Anyway, let's don't get into that.
Are you sure?
I'm not
whatever the relationship is, it's not working out very well. It's not working out very well. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's improving.
They have a similar relationship, but I don't know if you would call it symbiotic. But I don't want to get into the definition. I'm not exactly a Webster dictionary, so I could be wrong. But before we get out of here, because we are up against time, and I know you were concerned that maybe we wouldn't chew up 20 minutes, and we told you, trust me, with me.
I think we should do a field trip tour to Mark's facility, or one.
Would you let us record at your place?
You know what I think I would find fascinating is our Laredo operation. We're located out there towards the Columbia Bridge, so we bypass a lot of the traffic in Laredo. But if you haven't spent much time in Laredo, the amount of traffic truck congestion is just unreal.
So the time I spent in Laredo was as a young man behind the wheel of a semi.
Oh, there you go.
Across the border. Now I'm sure it's worse now, but it was pretty damn bad back then.
Yeah. So I think we got a real strong competitive advantage there in Laredo where we built out there. Do you remember where the Columbia Bridge is?
Yeah.
So
there, past Mines Road.
Yep. And it used to be a toll road that would take you to San Antonio, and they just opened that up and made it non-toll. And so you take a straight shot to San Antonio and up 35.
Yeah.
So we've just completed that project.
We're going to Laredo, buddy, but try to
make it happen.
Let's make it before it gets too hot, because
there's an incredible golf course literally right
I've heard about
3-4 miles from, and it really is. And you're actually playing right there on the river and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Can you get us on there?
I can get you on. I can make it happen.
Right,
Max Mundell course. It's great. So
like I say, want to wrap this up, but I don't want to necessarily wrap it up, but we got to wrap it up. But something I want to make sure you have a chance, kind of your elevator pitch, right?
Yep.
What are the one or two things, right, for your customers, for the people that you're doing business with? What's the difference maker in Santos International?
Well, I think number one, it's our personal involvement. And obviously, we have a tremendous staff. We're blessed to have employees that have been with us for 25 years of this operation. And so really, our people are outstanding. We spend time with them. We care about them. And really, our people are our service. And so the more you develop that, the better you are. So, and I'm fortunate. I have fallen a little short. I also have some brothers that are involved in the business too, Edward and Carlos, and so it's a blessing. Families, business can be challenging, but quite frankly, it's a blessing to have them there. When I'm not there, I know they're also there involved and they're hands-on involved. And so it's a great feeling to know I can leave 2 or 3 days and then still there and take care of it. And customers feel comfortable reaching out and talking to them and getting the same type of attention.
I'd love to see the wrestling matches in that office.
Oh yeah, you'd love it. You'd love it. In the end of the day, we all still go to Easter and Christmas and every holiday, and even hang out and go fishing. So it's really is a blessing.
Well, Mark, really appreciate you again.
Thank you for the support.
On the contrary, guys.
Sponsorship, everything that you do.
This will be to be continued. We'll have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, good times.
Sure.
Thank
Enjoy
you
yourself at Viva Fresh. Get out and make the most of it.
Let's do this.
Yeah,
we've all worked hard to get here and make this thing a success, and we're all going to keep it going together.
And put on your calendar already for next year the Fresh CrEd Golf. Okay,
there we go. Let's roll.
All right, brother. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks very much for Mark and the Santos International.